Wi-Fi, and algorithms. You had the radio, you had cable TV with a few channels, and maybe MTV. That's it. Everyone consumed culture from the same handful of places. If a song from the 70s played on the radio, you heard it. If a classic movie aired on TV, you watched it. Cultural exposure was shared and centralized. Gen Z, they grew up in the algorithm era. Their culture isn't shaped by radio stations or network schedules. It's shaped by TikTok feeds, YouTube recommendations, and Spotify algorithms. Instead of just a few gatekeepers deciding what everyone hears, the algorithm decides what you specifically see. This is why they have a lot of regional artists and artists who sell out medium-sized venues that we all don't know because of the internet. That means hyper-personalization, but also hyper-isolation. If the algorithm doesn't surface Prince or Madonna, it may never organically encounter them. If no one around them references Back to the Future, it doesn't naturally enter their world. Millennials absorb older culture almost by accident. Gen Z has to seek it out intentionally. And that usually doesn't happen unless someone teaches them. But we can't just blame the software. We have to look at the parents. Sorry, Gen X, we've got to talk. I'm talking to you. Yup. In previous generations, culture was inheritance. Parents sat their kids down and made them watch Star Wars or listen to Led Zeppelin or Marvin Gaye or Aretha Franklin or The Temptations like it was a rite of passage. But Gen X, the generation that prided itself on being whatever and hands-off, largely stopped curating, handed their kids an iPad and said, find your own vibe. Well, they found it. But because culture is no longer being passed down at the dinner table, Gen Z is missing the prequels to their own lives. They're watching the sequel to any movie they didn't know had a part one. And maybe the real question isn't, why doesn't Gen Z know? Maybe it's who's supposed to be teaching Gen Z. Because culture doesn't disappear, it just stops being passed down. So is pop culture dead? Nah, it's just fragmented. Millennials are the last ones who ever agree on who the biggest star in the world is, Michael Jackson, because we were the last ones forced to look at the same screen. Gen Z isn't uncultured, they're just contextless. And unless we start treating artistic history like actual history, something worth teaching, we're gonna end up in a world where vintage just means anything more than 3 weeks ago because they didn't know it existed. We are in a crisis. We need to fix this. Happy Saturday.